Well, whenever you're building out your Kubernetes clusters, the first thing that you should be looking at as a day zero problem to solve is security. As you are, integrating with your CI/CD pipeline, your applications are being built on your Kubernetes environments. The security is probably the most important thing that you really should be considering in terms of implementing right off of the bat. Because the first thing that attackers utilize or they try to go after are security vulnerabilities in your application. Then there's other ways that the bad actors can go after your software. So that's why security and network security is so paradigm in terms of whenever you're building out your Kubernetes clusters. Yeah, so some of the things that users will encounter throughout the life cycle of their application development on Kubernetes is number one is during build time there will be a lot of vulnerabilities in the software, which can be exploited by bad actors. Then there's could be vulnerabilities and misconfigurations in the software that need to be plugged again, so that these cannot be exploited. Then as you go through your CI/CD pipeline and your application development, then you have to worry about runtime security. So one of the things that is happening, especially around containers and Kubernetes right now, that a lot of the attacks that are happening on your traditional network are now happening on your containers and Kubernetes environments as well. So runtime security becomes very important. So that's a challenge. And then network security, right? So the data and the information that flows between your Kubernetes or within your Kubernetes environments, between your clusters, that information and that environment has to be protected as well, right? So these are just some of the challenges. Also, then on top of it, the other challenges are around observability, to be able to view what is happening on your entire network and be able to very quickly pinpoint where the issue is, and then so that you can go solve it. These are just some of the challenges that users will run into. Yeah, so it's really important to obviously do a lot of testing around your networking environment, and really scale the limits of what your environment is capable of. Because as you grow your Kubernetes environment, you are going to add a lot of infrastructure, a lot of policies, a lot of things to the environment, and because of that, it's really important to do the scale testing to be able to do that, and then also be able to do security testing on that entire environment as well. Because again, you want to make sure that your entire environment is secure. Sorry, for security testing. You mean for security testing framework? So some of the capabilities that we have right now, our customers buy us for 5 primary reasons within the Kubernetes environment right now. Number one is microsegmentation, being able to segment your environment so that only pieces of information that need to talk to each other can talk to each other, right? So microsegmentation is number one. Number two is observability, being able to view everything that is happening on your network and being able to pinpoint very quickly where the problem is. That's number two. Number three is egress access controls. So being able to build policies and then being able to manage the policies, to stage the policies, and then deploy the policies. And then we also do policy recommendation there as well. The other part of that is also being able to do FQDN or DNS policies. So being able to securely access anything outside of the cluster. Number four would be egress gateway. Egress gateway allows users to access anything from the container outside, behind a firewall. That could be within your environment or outside of your environment. Say if you want to connect to a database, or if you want to connect to anything behind a firewall or outside of a firewall. So we assign a static IP so that you can very securely go through the firewall and be able to also trace where that um, which container that information is coming from. So these are some of the pieces why our customers are buying us right now, and then we'll continue to do future enhancements in those areas there as well.